Hello, everyone. Welcome to 360 Degrees Excellence, where we believe everyone can have around success. Today, I just want to share the video my friend Remi Adetunmbi presented to us at our Wealth Club yesterday. Uh, Remi spoke about real estate and also cryptocurrency, how you can really invest in those two spaces. And I'm sure you're going to be blessed. I started a weight club late last year titled Saint Weight Club. And those of us in that club, our overriding aim is to make money so that when we make money, we can be a blessing, we can help people, we can solve problems in the world. There are so many problems in the world: problem of hunger, problem of extreme poverty, homelessness. There are so many problems, but we as children of God, God wants us to solve problems. God wants us to arise and shine. And you need money to make a difference. And we want to make money. And we know that when we make money, we can really help people. And so, if you are also interested to be part of that club, you can contact me because we know that we need more people uh, to make a difference in the world. I'm sure you're going to be blessed uh, by the talk. See you next time. Bye.
All right, good afternoon once again, everyone. It's a privilege to be sharing with us this afternoon. And thank you, Professor Tosin, for bargaining for the opportunity as well. All right. Okay, so I'll just talk very briefly based on my experience in the real estate sector. That's from when I was in Nigeria, and and my little adventure in the cryptocurrency market as well. So that's why I titled the presentation Exploring the Real Estate and Cryptocurrency Markets on the introductory level. That's why I have introduction there as well.
Can I move to the next slide?
Yes, please. Thank you. Once I'm done talking, you can just do.
Okay.
So the pattern of the flow for the presentation will just be, I'll talk briefly about real estate, then secondly about cryptocurrency, and then we arrive at a conclusion so we can make room for questions and answers. All right, so the first thing, real estate. Well, this is a very this is something I'm very passionate about. I happen to do a lot of real estate, both as a business and for investment back home in Nigeria. Uh, and I always encourage people to look at real estate very, very closely, for many reasons. Because I was privileged to have a chat with even some of the people we think are very prominent in our society. And the reality is that many of them had information that they plied on and that made them extremely wealthy. And many of them, when they started, I can actually mention names and you'll be surprised that we had some life stories from some of them, maybe while trying to sell one property for them or the other. Very big names. And then they tell you how much they bought the property and they are selling it in billions as at that time. And many of them relied on information they had from friends in government that could tell them where government, show them the government layout, where the government will be spending money in years to come and things like that. So they avoid certain things and they know what to invest in. So, but are the opportunities gone for real estate? No. I think as long as man plies the face of this, there will always be opportunity for real estate. So why should I do real estate? I just want to kind of trigger our thinking, or make us to think critically about the business, because I don't want the presentation to be so theoretical. So why should I do real estate? I will also attempt to answer these questions in my own way, just to um, up to broaden up perspectives about real estate investment. So where should I do real estate? When should I start real estate? Who should I do real estate with? You can ask any other thing you would like to ask about it after the once I'm done with the presentation as well. Next slide, please.
Sorry.
So we'll start with why should I do real estate? So I said the first thing is for your positioning. You want to position yourself for wealth creation, because why I say that is, if you observe, oftentimes when we buy land or construct our buildings, except when we buy the completed building. But oftentimes we start from buying land or also building, especially from a setting like in Nigeria. So you want to look at how much you put in. You first of all buy your land, then you build at your own pace, at your own pace, with your own budget, and you spend the money over a long time. Even some people, it takes them 10, 15 years to actually complete their buildings, though they might have been living there maybe 3 years or 5 years after they started. So, but why I say wealth creation is this: when they eventually want to trade the same estate, referring to land or the building, that they had to do in bits and bits over time, they can end up with a lot of millions sometimes. This is one way that I've seen a lot of lives changed, because if you put in I'm trying to avoid, quoting figures and things like that. But if you put in some amounts of money into a project, I remember a project I did in Lagos then. While I was still working, I just kept on doing it, doing it, doing it. 7 years down the line, I look back and I said, let me just try the market and see what the value of this property was going to be worth. To be honest, I was shocked, because I would do the same work as a manager in a telecoms company for over 30 years, saving up my salary, you know, without, and I still will not meet up with that amount, that the property was worth. And I still have to say that particular property I'm referring to is still not sold, and the price has still gone up tremendously. But this was a property that I was borrowing 100,000 at interest, 120,000 to do renovations on it, just to make sure that I present it. I make it. I get it to standard for good for people to rent it. So, and then looking at the value that it came up with after about 6, 7 years, I knew that, okay, this is the direction to go, because I can't put up anything that will really do it. So that's how real estate can be. So it could really bring in a lot of operation. So let me be faster because of time. So also for places that are more organized, say probably in Europe or some African countries. I know a couple of people are in South Africa. Eh? So South Africa is one of the top countries in Africa. So they have that. I know Rwanda and some North African countries. So where you have where credit rating really matters, and they have mortgage facilities and things like that. If you go into properties there, it's in such countries, it's also really helps you with building your equity, and also growing your credit rating, which can still help you do more real estate if you're really interested in it. Because I haven't been long in Canada, but I've been privileged to get into that as quickly as I can. And the interesting thing is that just as at the time of taking possession of the first property, to the glory of God, I put it that way because it won't be the last, you know, the equity was 5 times more than what I dropped to buy the property in the first place. So, which what you contributed, the 5% you contributed, the equity is times 5 as at the time of taking possession of the property. And I was being asked to, see if I ought to say, I'm like, in my mind, you don't understand. I understand real estate more than this. So that's how it really works. And we'll still get to some of that thing. So let's move on. And it also opens the doors for investments and partnerships. The people offering me, do you want to sell? Would you like to sell? Sometimes you have such offers, even from Nigeria, from a few of your properties as well, because if you don't have it, such offers will just never come, and you never can tell what can come from it. You can go into joint venture development because you have the land, partners can come in, they can build while you have a portion of what was built. So also it's a way to build prosperity because you have cash flow, liquidity. That's especially if you go into renting or leasing of your properties. And I mentioned this before, the bulk funds when you sell. And then for prosperity's sake, yes, our Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So for posterity's sake, you don't want your offspring, neither do I as well, to start from where to start from where I started from. They should start from where I'm ending or where I'm rounding up if possible. And that is very possible. I know in some countries you can't really will your children can inherit your properties, but I think this way that you can actually, you know, get the value back and enable them or empower them to be able to start their own journey as early as possible so that they have all the years to enjoy the wealth. I'm sure they will always appreciate that. So for prosperity reasons, so I just try to simplify this into 3 P's. Why should I do real estate? Let's move to the next slide, please. Thank you, sir. So where should I do real estate? Well, from relating with a few friends in Europe as well, I have come to the conclusion that it's better you do real estate at the location where you have to start with. Because oftentimes a lot of people, are in the diaspora and they think more of home all of the time. But there are so many things that may make that decision not work for them rightly at the end of the day. So if it's possible, if you can afford it, that's going to the second budget, budget and affordability. Explore the real estate opportunity where you are, where you live, where you work, where your family is. It doesn't now that we are Nigerians, honestly, it's a super plus and advantage because we have the population and our economy is a real, represents massive opportunity for wealth creation and even for development generally. Yeah, our governments we may not be managing the country properly at the moment, but Nigeria will always have all of those good things to be explored. So it's not like we should become blind to investments in Nigeria, but if you can do it, it makes a lot of sense. If you can protect it, if you can be safe, if you can have the right person to deal with and be ready to do all the needful, it's also a perfect place to invest. But why I said what I said the first time is that if you explore your location is this. We know that the way our governance is back home is not standard at the moment. It's almost unpredictable. So, but if you do the same investment, let's say in Europe or in America, wherever you are, and then you realize that over time, you actually do a lot better. And if you are also not, if you are also very, if you also observe very closely, those that focus on those same markets that look beyond the challenges and push their real estate in that same market. If you have stayed there with them in the same number of years, you will actually see that they are doing well right now, especially because of the exchange rate. So it's good to explore that as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so when should I start real estate? Either now or later, or maybe when you plan to start soon. I think that's very straightforward. I recommend now as just plan for it and try to do it now. Now can still be not too far away. Next slide. Who should I do real estate with? Yes, this is delicate, and I put I put faith in the center column because I know that it's a big challenge, especially for I know virtually everyone is a Nigerian, so especially because of where we are from. But all the same, we can look at companies with verifiable records and also try to search out individuals or characters. It could be on referral. I know there are still good people everywhere, even in Nigeria. They are good, they are honest people in Nigeria. And I did real estate for about 12 years. I practically couldn't run an advert because I was always busy. And then I wondered how it happened, but it was majorly through referrals. I just noticed because one referral to the other kept me going and going, so I could just combine it with work, and I'm thankful to God for that as well. Then, if you're also in groups that where they have common aims and objectives, I know a group like that. My sister actually belongs there. So when they have such opportunities, because the leader has a similar vision to what Professor Tosin is doing here. I'm not marketing for him because he didn't tell me about any project. I'm just saying based on my experience, because I was still offered a land at 3 million in Isheri North residential area from that group. My sister sent it to me. I still have the email. That was early last year, and because I know what the property market in Nigeria. I know land goes for between 8 and 15 million in that residential estate. So my question was, how did you get this? How did you get this? This and that. So they had just about 40 plots. So it depends on such goes, but before I could say like while I was still doing my doubts, after a few days, it was sold out already. So because they work together as a group, sometimes they build together. They buy and they build in prime places in Lagos, and they sell for millions, and then they share the profits. So sometimes it's safe that way, because when you also do such group investment, you are not exposing yourself fully. They have their lawyers, they have everything covering it. So that's also one way. So I think I'll just stop uh, that way on real estate and quickly go to the second part of the presentation, cryptocurrencies. Yeah, so cryptocurrency, I have Bitcoin as the logo because that's the top coin when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Then the next slide, I wrote something about echoes of crypto. I just came up with that because I know a couple of people have their doubts and they tend to just be observing. They tend to be on the sideline, checking and observing what is happening. Maybe someone is thinking, as crypto come to stay, will it last for years to come? Will it crash? This is it an end time stuff? Antichrist in the process, those kinds of things. Or is the blockchain technology truly better than the traditional technology that runs most payments across the world at the moment? Will I lose my money? Will I not lose my money? Is it gambling or not? So different echoes, different questions just come to mind. So from the next slide, I say, so where do you stand in all of this? Just Professor Tosin, has a book on cryptocurrency, and he can talk, he can give more information on this field, as in than me, because he's a professor and he deals with information and research. So I'm just saying mine on the surface. So yeah, because I've also been involved for some years now. So cryptocurrency market cap is about $2.06 trillion as at this morning, you know, and I'm sure all Nigerian banks put together, even if they double, triple their funds, their capitalization, they won't even be close to that in any way. And that should be about the third biggest market in the entire world now, if not the second. So in year 2021, I came across this information based on what the exchanges published, that cryptocurrency produced about 150,000 millionaires, and that's in dollars. Even in Nigeria, I know lots of people in Nigeria that are multi-millionaires in Naira because they are doing cryptocurrency. It sounds unbelievable when you see some of the profits that could come from from being involved with cryptocurrency. Sometimes it sounds almost unbelievable. Okay, so you look at the crypto space and you see that it's really evolving. So you have to be able to answer that question, because if you don't know where you stand concerning cryptocurrency, you will either stand afar off, you won't be a player, you keep watching what is happening, and you don't want to get to a point that it becomes history before you now want to start playing the game as well. So you see evolvement in the crypto space going into NFTs. NFTs are non-fungible tokens, metaverse that has to do a lot with gaming, even play to earn games and things like that. Web 3.0, that's practically competing with the internet on its own. So the internet may be one of the most fascinating things that we are experiencing right now, but the way the cryptocurrencies is evolving, we might just find ourselves totally in a completely different paradigm of technology, before we know what's going on. So decentralized finance, those options are there. We can look it up. Uh, and all of these things can lead to worldwide adoption of cryptocurrency. So I just gave that point so that we can broaden our perspective about it. China, for instance, with the highest population, one of the biggest markets, they banned cryptocurrency in their country. But the same China, as at yesterday, I heard in the news that they were starting up NFT blockchain, you know, and the same NFT blockchain, which I already mentioned there, is an offshoot of cryptocurrency as well, the blockchain technology. So it just appears to me like China just loves to be first. It's not in what they do, and so they can actually control people because it's their government that is now trying to build that on their own. Because China, the kind of economy they run. So I've forgotten the term for that right now. So yeah. So our financial and business landscape is fast changing. So I do recommend, though I say we, because I believe I'm part of the Saints World Club. So I do recommend that, we should, I'm not giving financial advice, but based on the fact that I do it and it's been really worth the while. And we intend to share as much as we can, as openly as we can to others as well, so that anyone who cares to um, be a part of it can be a part of it. And the sole essence of it is for us to be able to help and empower others as well, and help as many people as God will lead us to, or grant us the privilege to help and support as well. So our financial and business landscape is fast changing. So I'll recommend from the next slide that we raise our appetites on 4 different levels. You know, flexibility level. What I mean by that, I probably drew that from my professional practice, as a scrum master. You have to be agile, you have to be mentally alert to changes. You have to be able to know what is happening, what is going on, be able to explore. You don't want to stick to the traditional way of looking at things, because it will be difficult to embrace changes as it comes. And the changes that are coming in our world today, especially because of the many impediments, like the viruses that we are having, disruptions in logistics and things like that, is really changing a whole lot of things. And we have to be open-minded to be able to move at that pace, so that, because in the midst of all of these things, even if the world means it for evil, God too keeps working out his own thoughts towards us that are always thoughts of good and not of evil, to give us a future and a hope, even in the midst of all the noise and the darkness of the world. So the other level that we need to raise our appetite in is the information level. Honestly, you may not be able to play well in the crypto field or market if you do not seek to know by yourself. Is either you really make a decision to know about it, or you just learn. It's a privilege we are talking about it today. Maybe it could spark interest in someone that is not aware of all that is happening in that field at the moment. But you really need to raise your information level on that, in that field. And again, this third one is quite interesting. I said, raise your risk appetites levels. The reason why I said that is this, because I know many of us have burnt our fingers in the past, being engaged in many beautiful schemes, well-packaged schemes that turned out to be Ponzi schemes. Or for, at the end of the day, even maybe they were Ponzi schemes packaged as lucrative products. So, and then we burnt our fingers, and because of that, we have become so risk averse that we are always extremely careful. And so because of that, we often don't take decisions that can really give us quantum leaps in our finances. So I recommend, of course, it should be manageable, but at the same time, I recommend that uh, don't play it too safe, because sometimes too safe may just mean no change, you know. So then the last one is actionable levels. It's always important to act on what you know. If you have good information, act on the good information. Let there be corresponding good actions to good information. It's not just enough to know. It's always better to act on what you know. Can we move to the next slide? I think that should be the conclusion. Yes. So Thank you everyone for listening to me. This is the final conclusion, but it's a conclude. We are at the concluding end of this presentation. So the next slide. So, but thank you for listening so far, and thank you for coming as well. So I wrote these. I said common virtues for investment. So I don't know if it's quite clear, but the first one there is faith. You know, we know what the scripture says in Hebrews 11:1. Without faith is impossible. Oh, sorry, that's Hebrews 11:6. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So I wrote, without faith, giving substance to our hopes, we will refuse to take correspondence. Hello?
Remi, yeah, okay. You muted yourself the other time. Yeah.
Oh, so sorry about that. I just saw muted. All right.
Yeah.
So I was saying without faith, giving substance to our hopes, we will refuse to take corresponding intelligent or smart actions that will change our lives, because it's important. I know I said something very close to that before. So when it comes to finances, our decisions, our actions, they must be prompt, smart, and intelligent. You know, it's always it sounds like let me say it sounds like fame. I know we are all Nigerians, so I can say that when someone just tells you, I just made $500,000 in 24 hours or $1 million, and then you'll be like, why am I not the one? Lord, what am I doing with everything I know, So, and I pray like we prayed at the beginning, I believe in prayers of agreement that when Prof. Tosin was praying, that God will guide us, open our eyes, and we'll take the right decision. So, common virtues for investment. The second one, I said patience. So I wrote a statement I once told someone, because I told him, because he was asking me a question. Okay, so I was like, look, you don't have to look for a 1 billion naira investment. I actually used naira. I didn't write naira in this presentation. So I said, you don't have to look for a 1 billion naira investment to become a billionaire. Just make a 1 billion naira worth of decision or an idea. So you nurture it, and I was referring to real estate. You protect it. Don't sell it. Don't be pressured, and then you wait patiently as long as you need to wait, and then till you meet your target, then you have your billion. So, because the honest truth is that some people are never going to touch that kind of money in their lifetime. So if you know you didn't come from that kind of background that can easily give you such leap or add it over to you, then you have to really strategize for it. And I gave him an example. I said, so I was privileged to be able, to God's glory, to be able to buy some plots of land at a very big, okay, when we first got there, it was 70,000. And then we told the man, we're like, we are very young people. We are not so it was when we actually acted in surprise that how could you be selling land at 70,000 per plot when this place is just about 25 minutes to central Lagos. I mean, to a place like uh Yanopaja, 25 minutes drive. Like, are these people sleeping, or what's their issue? Why are they selling the land 70,000 at that time? So they were like, I know, they say, okay, we can get cheaper, but we have to go inside the bush. That will go in. There is no road. So one of my friends that were together answered. He said, we are not in a hurry. We are very young people that we want the bush one so we can buy it at 30,000. So we just laughed. The people laughed too, and they took us inside the bush. And we said, yes, that's what we want. That we are not in a hurry. So I learned that practically. That same day, my friend bought 30 acres of land. I didn't even have any money to buy, but I went and sourced my own funds. I also bought some acres. Do you know the last time we put that land for sale was 1.5 million per plot? I'm not exaggerating. If I give you the location, though the truth is we are all almost sold out everything. Even my friend has sold out all his own. It's still me that is keeping uh my patient's theory because he works with he does business with oil service company, so he gets a lot of money, so he can always go back to do that. But me, I was just privileged to be able to take that decision. So and I'm like, look, all I need to do is protect this land. I clear it. I spend my money to fence it. I do all the papers. I keep maintaining. They know me. I do proper PR, but I have a target. I know what I'm keeping the land for. I know when it is the figure I'm keeping it for, then I'm going to exit the market. And so that's what I mean by patience. So in conclusion, for that, it takes patience to build wealth. So now this risk management, the third virtue, it applies to anything, especially when it comes to financial investments. So don't risk more than you can afford to lose at any given time, especially when you are starting out. You know, follow the rules of risk management in any form of digital or online trading investment. You see, the interesting thing is that there are even risk calculators. You see, yeah, risk management calculators that can be downloaded to actually calculate your risk, to know that if I and then interestingly too, most of the platform, be it forex trading, be it cryptocurrency, even recently stock trading, you can actually define your loss, how much you want to lose for what you have made a decision to risk in the first place. So there might be a lot more. I'm also open to learn and receive from others, but I've just shared from my own experience what has worked for me and what I play by, and I'm still learning as well. And so I'll give my final conclusion now by saying thank you once again for listening, and God will continue to bless each and every one of us and our families through Christ's name. Amen.